All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So we're moving on to lesson 1-9 in our student activity books. And lesson 1-9, the only thing different between this and what we've done since Thursday is now we've added in the mixed numbers. So we've added in a whole number to go with our fractions for our adding and subtracting of unlike fractions, mixed numbers now. So again, not much has changed. So let's take a look at some of these. Let's do a few together. So the first one, 2 3/8 minus 1 1/4. You know what? Go ahead and put in the chat real quick for me what our common denominator is going to be. What's our denominator going to be in order to solve this problem? Oh, I see some answers coming through. I like it. I like it. Yep, I'm seeing lots of 8s. Yes, because remember we start with our smaller denominator and we see, can 4 go into 8? Yes, it can. So that means that 8 is our common denominator. Well, I know 8 times 1 is 8, so 3 times 1 is 3. And 4 times what gets me to 8?
2.
4 times 2, yep. So then 1 times 2 is 2. And now it's a subtraction problem. 3/8 minus 2/8 is?
1/8.
And then don't forget your whole number. So then we come back, 2 minus 1 is?
1.
Thank you. Whew, I was a little worried there for a minute. So our answer is 1 1/8. And just like when we're subtracting other numbers, we're always going to start on what's on the right and work our way across the left. So we always start with our fractions and then move to our whole numbers. And the reason for that is because sometimes we might have to borrow. And if we're borrowing, we need to make sure that we're dealing with our fractions first, okay? And we did do some practice borrowing back when we did our like fractions when they had the same denominators. I do want to point out, I had somebody mention that 12 would be the denominator. Let's think about that. Because there are other denominators we could have had, right? But 4 goes into 8, so that's what makes 8 our easier denominator. Let's look. Could I have used 12 as a denominator? Well, does 8 go into 12 evenly? No, it doesn't. So 12 would not have worked for a denominator. Tell me, would 24 have worked for a denominator?
Yes.
Yes, because 8 goes into 24 and 4 goes into 24. So 24 would have worked. Would 32 have worked for a denominator?
Yes.
Yes, because those 8 and 4 go into 32. So there are other options that would have worked. We always want to try and use the smallest one if we can. But 12 would not have worked for a denominator for the reason that 8 would not have gone into it evenly. Okay, let's take a look at our next one. 4 1/5 plus 2 1/3. Go ahead, put it in the chat. What do you think our common denominator is going to be? Put it in the chat for me. What's our denominator going to be? I like it. I'm seeing lots of them. All right. Yes, 15 is going to be my common denominator. Because I'm going to start again. Can 3 go into 5? No, sir.
No.
So I'm going to count by 5. Can 3 go into 10?
No.
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 Can 3 go into 15?
Yes.
Yes, it can.
Yes.
So 3 times 5 is?
15.
15. Oh, I cheated. What's 1 times 5? Well, I didn't cheat. I just made it easier on you.
5.
5. How many times does 5 go into 15?
3 times.
3 times. What's 1 times 3?
3.
3. You got it. Add them up, right? This is an adding problem. 5 plus 3 is?
8/15.
8/15. And don't forget that whole number. 4 plus 2 is 6.
6.
Awesome. I like it. Yep.
Excuse me?
Yes.
I have an easier way to find a common denominator. Maybe
What do you do?
maybe you can multiply the two denominators. That's what I did with 5 and 3.
So yes, you can, Carter. That absolutely does work. But like I had mentioned, you're good. It's better if you find the smallest common denominator. And the reason is because as you guys get older, they're going to make you simplify your answers. So if, for example, if on this one over here, I had used 32 because I did 8 times 4, let's see, what would that have given me? That would have given me 12 there and 8 there. That would have given me 20 over 34. And that's not simplified. I can make that smaller. I think I did that wrong. 8 times 4, 3 times 4, 4. Anyway, what's that?
You put 34 instead of 32.
Oh, thank you. Something was looking wrong. 32. And it's a subtraction problem. My goodness. So 4 over 32. So then I would need to say, okay, well, that's not simplified. I can divide both the top and the bottom by 4, and that's going to equal 1/8. So that's the only reason I'm trying to show you guys how to find your least common denominator instead of just any common denominator, to save you that step when you get to older grades and they make you simplify. Okay. But yes, Corey, Carter, you're absolutely correct. You can just multiply them together and you will get a common denominator that will work for you. Okay.
7 and 8 is the only one that has to be multiplied together.
Oh, that sounds like a good. What about 5 and 9? I think there's a lot of them that you have to multiply them together. Okay. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Put it in the chat for me. What's our common denominator? Ooh, I see lots of you jumping to just multiplying 6 times 4. Yes, that is a common denominator, but is it our least common denominator? Oh, I'm seeing some least common denominator answers now. So 4, can 4 go into 6?
No.
No, sir. So I'm going to start counting by 6s. So next comes 12. Can 4 go into 12?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. There's my common denominator. Okay. How many times does 6 go into 12?
2.
2.
2 times. What's 5 times 2?
10.
10.
10. You got it. How many times does 4 go into 12?
3.
3. What's 1 times 3?
3.
3.
3. Am I adding or subtracting?
Subtracting 7.
Subtracting.
Oh,
4 and 7.
4 and 7 twelfths.
4 and 7 twelfths. You guys got it. Awesome. Let's skip down to number 5. Let's take a look at number 5. What's my common denominator going to be? Throw it into the chat for me. Number 5. What's our common denominator going to be?
5.
Oh, I love it. I see lots of people saying 15. Yes. 15 is our common denominator because 3 goes into 15. How do I get from 3 to 15? 3 times what?
3 times 5. 5.
5. What's 1 times 5?
5.
5. You got it. How do I get from 15 to 15? Well, that's times 1. That's going to be a 7/15. All right. What do I do next?
You
Subtract.
You get 2 15s.
Wait, you have to borrow.
I have to borrow. Yes, I can't do 5 take away 7. That doesn't work. I have to borrow. This is just like borrowing that we did before. We have our common denominators. I have to borrow from my 4, so my 4 is going to become a 3. So I borrowed 1 whole. How am I going to write that 1 whole that I borrowed?
You add, it's 20. 20 is
Okay, but listen to my question. I asked, how am I going to write that one whole that I borrowed? I'm going to write it as 15 over 15, right? Because 15 is the denominator that I have already.
20 over
So
15.
So now I have 20 over 15. Now can I subtract? Can I do 20 take away 7?
Yes.
Yes,
Do
what's that?
13 over 15.
And am I done?
And
1. 1, 13,
One.
1 and 13, 15.
1 and 13.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Give me your ranking 1 to 5. How are you feeling?
Five
1
is
to
good.
5. Yes, 5 is good. All right. So let's take out our planners real quick. We're not done. Don't leave me. We're not done. But we're going to write down in our planners math. What page was that? Page
21.
17, 18. Math, homework and remembering. Page 17, 18. Okay. And really you have about 13 minutes until, actually I take it back, about 23 minutes, but that should be good. So make sure you break at 10:30 and you're back at 10:45. But I don't want you to leave if you want to stay on and do some more together. If you're good, if you've got this, if you know what you're doing, I will let you guys log off and get started on your homework. If not, stay on. We'll work on some of the homework ones together so you're not falling behind. But stay on to work on homework with me if you still have questions.
Can we stay on even if we don't have questions?
Absolutely.